Hey, it's Raiden. I'm a marketer. I also invest in info products and coaching brands. And this is the discovery call Annihilator. A little bit of background about me. I come from a direct response copy background. So I write sales pages, I write emails that convert for high ticket coaching companies with really big packages, masterminds, master classes, webinars, etc. You got to spend a lot more time on serious buyers, not just being a tape recorder and answering the same exact questions again and again. And that's unfortunately what I see with coaches who I have worked with. Like the discovery call is a sacred tool because it's 60 minutes, 40 minutes. Like let's not kid ourselves. The people who are gonna waste your time are gonna waste more of your 60 minutes and an hour 30 minutes. When's the last time that you have actually gotten a discovery call last below 60 minutes? It's better off for you to be focusing on higher leverage activities, which is either delivery, growing your social media business, growing your visibility, and getting more clients, scaling, etc. So don't use the discovery call as a sales tool or even a marketing tool at that. Let the mini sales page do the selling for you. So I'm going to walk you through so that you can fill in the gaps that you might not have known when going through this guide. So the paragraph that is really important, that sets the tone for the rest of the sales page, is your vision. What do you believe that the world should have in your industry, or at least how the industry should work? If you can connect with audience members on a philosophical level, it becomes really easy for them to buy into your mission by participating with your offer, buying your offer, buying your guide, buying your getting into your discovery sales call. They'll be in the same exact page with you in terms of mission statement. So start with I believe. So I was talking to an AUDHD coach, which is attention deficit hyperactivity disorder, paired with autism. And he believes that resources and support for AUDHD people should be one click away worldwide. He has a huge TikTok following, and people shouldn't rely on medication alone. You rely on medication alone, it makes you feel like a zombie, and it doesn't feel good for people with this ailment. So the resources, the tactics, they should have a lifestyle that they can fall back into so that they can live properly. So another example would be Steve Jobs, like in the 80s. Apple computers, the reason why his mission statement is so strong that a lot of A players want to work at Apple as much as possible is because his belief is very noble, at least for Next. In Next, he was focused on building strong computers that can do 3D graphics so that even in school, students can simulate like an airplane, like a hadron collider, how it is simulated in a virtual space, etc. Like you don't need to be there in the science lab in real life. You just need a computer to simulate all these things. So his mission statement, as noble as possible, is the reason why a lot of A players, and it's the reason why Apple has been like just incredible even after his passing. May he rest in peace. So start with I believe. Like your vision could be as simple as you want that resource to be worldwide. And you cannot fake this. This needs to be deep down. Reach deep down into what you have struggled with yourself when you were trying to solve your own problem that you came up with a solution for so that other people don't have to suffer the way you did. Reach deep down, because if you reach into yourself, nobody else can copy you, and it needs to be as authentic as possible for people to believe in your mission statement. What does working with you look like? This is really crucial because people don't want to be convinced. Like they don't need to buy into your process. They need clarity. That's what a lot of people, the reason why people, F off from your discovery call is because they they don't they don't really know what's going on. So you need to give them a mental map. Like what is going to happen if I take step one? So let's say the first few sessions, if you're a coaching or a consultation package that you're selling, what am I going to expect? What is the win? What is the small win? What am I going to expect 1 month from now? Don't give them the benefits, give them a mind map, because people trust plans because they're so solid and realistic rather than the entire dream outcome. Now, I know a lot of copywriters and a lot of marketers tend to say, oh, sell the dream outcome, sell what they want most, appeal to emotion. That's not it. People want logic. People want a mission that they can realistically put themselves through in their mind, so that, before you buy something, you imagine it, having it. You imagine putting the thing that you want to buy somewhere on your table, or on your cabinet, on your dresser, etc. So you realistically need to know, where am I going to put this piece of furniture, right? People need to make sense with their current life. So if you have like an intangible product, this is paramount. This is the most important part. They need to know how this fits into their life and how the wins are going to benefit them. As realistic as possible. You don't need to tell them the whole thing. All you need to do is tell them, what are we going to do? Step one, step two, step three. Summarize it, but give them a map, you know, give them something that they can see themselves through. Give them something that they can, if they don't have time, like acknowledge that a lot of our clients have like scarcity in time. So we separate the sessions so that we can milk it out as much as possible, milk out as much productivity and progress per session, per month, or per 2 weeks. You don't have to tell them everything, just a rough mind map from where they are to their destination. They need stepping stones more than they need the dream outcome. They understand dream outcome, yeah. And also, everybody is going to appeal to emotion, but you are the only one in your industry, or at least in your local area, in your industry, that gives them a plan, a solid plan that they can realistically wrap their head around. The next paragraph, or paragraphs rather, what makes you different from your competitors? This is really important. Reach deep down. Again, this is really unique to your experiences, your struggles, and how you came up with the solution to solve your problem so that other people don't have to suffer the way you did. And you may seem similar to your competitors. That's a known fact. At first glance, people will be like, oh, this is another consultant, this is another coach selling the same exact thing. But in reality, it's your stories and it's how you solve that problem is what makes you different from your competitors. And you got to reach deep down. Again, highlight your edge until it is unfair, because once you reach deep down into what you can offer uniquely, it's like comparing apples and oranges. It doesn't make sense to compare your competitors with your own service. So you got to understand that what makes you uniquely you is the one X factor that you can offer that your competitors can never offer in a million years. It can be your story. It can be your customized, being a tailor. Like I bought a suit, like their unique selling proposition is that they tailor and that they send to a factory and then it's done within weeks. When most other tailors, they would cut it themselves, and sometimes it's a little janky because they don't have much, they have a lot of orders, and then they don't have much time to spend on one suit. So, their unique selling point is they outsource the tailoring, but the fitting and all that's the most important part. That's the 20% that matters. They spend so much time with it, and then they outsource the production to a factory so that it is crisp, it's clean, highlight your edge. For example, a daily Voxer accountability is what I saw a coach do, which is incredible, because not only does your customers have 24-hour access to you, but it's also beneficial for you because you can reply to them your own time, your own schedule, but they have access to you because they need answers within that crisis window. It makes them feel safe when they have access to you. You might not want this as your edge. This is just an example that I saw, which is really, really beneficial for her success, like this one coach, because people feel safe when they feel like they're able to reach out, have a support system. It doesn't matter that you reply to them, in the next 24 or 48 hours, or, in a week's time. It's just the accessibility that is the unique selling proposition that coach had. And also, you can have a group brainstorm mastermind as an example as well, business mentor. And you have a lot of ideas floating around in your community that not a lot of people are trying, or not a lot of people are doubling down on. Like what works for somebody and then it works for another person, and then it works for another person, that's highly likely going to work for the other person that you're helping out as well. So you might not even need to put in your own effort. The strength that you have is your community, is the brainstorming, is the mastermind. So take a look deep down. What is it that is, very contrasting that you can highlight in your discovery call Annihilator that contrasts you from your competitors? All right, paragraphs 6 to 7. This is just a rough guide. You can have the paragraphs as long or as short as you want it to. In the end, it is yours. The frequently asked questions is really important. It's going to save you so much time in the discovery call. You want the discovery call to be people jumping on, and then they ask, okay, so what's the next step, coach? What's the next step, Mr. Consultant or Mrs. Consultant, right? You jump into a sales call, you feel like a tape recorder re-answering the same questions again and again. It's time you automate it. Automate the frequently asked questions. You can also put your frequently asked questions in your content, as long as you put it up front so that they don't ask it, because they should know about how you operate, what your process is before they even think about contacting you. Oh, this person operates like this and this. This is how much it costs. Now, I don't really get why people don't put their pricing. I understand that they price very differently for one client to the next, depending on their situation. But doesn't it save you a lot more time if you put in a ballpark price? Like if you're not going to go below 2 grand per, coaching package, then might as well put it there. I only work with people who can afford like 2K packages, 3K, like put the pricing there so that they know that either they cannot afford it or they can finance it, or they need to save up in order to afford it in the future. Like the price is what makes it serious. The price is what makes it logical for them. It gets their gears turning. If I need this and if money isn't an issue, will I still be taking up your program? Will I still be buying your consultation packages? If money wasn't a problem. So if you put the price, they're going to plan around. They're going to get around the price instead of jumping onto a call, wasting your time, and then they're not going to buy it at the end. That's just gone. 60 minutes, an hour 30, gone. You're never going to get that time back, right? So frequently asked questions. I went off on a tangent there. I apologize. Copy their questions verbatim. This is important because they have that question in mind. If you say it exactly how they said it, and you can refer back to your previous calls, your previous discovery calls, what are the questions that people ask, what concerns they have, and then just copy and paste what they said. Answer them here in the frequently asked questions section. Make sure it is bright and obvious so that people who jump onto your discovery call already gone through your frequently asked questions. They know what you're all about. Like, for example, is there a guarantee? Can I do payment plans? Do not be a tape recorder. Like, you're not a robot. And finally, objections. Oh, objections. As a direct response copywriter, answering objections up front, it is so useful. This is the rainmaker. This is the moneymaker. This is the big one, right? When objections come up, you're put on a spot, right? Unless you're a really great salesperson, a lot of coaches, outsource their sales to a sales team or some poor kid who needs to learn as much as possible about your product, your packages, etc., and then handle the objections himself. Why not just automate the objection handling by giving it up front? The greatest way to get people off the fence is to answer their objections up front. So you have these people who are thinking about buying your package. They want your mastermind, they want your consultation package, but they just have all these concerns that are really realistic and needs to be acknowledged by you. The common objections are just like frequently asked questions. It's really similar to the previous few paragraphs, but the best answers is the ones that you got the sale with. So think back, think hard if you don't record the discovery calls or the sales calls that you had previously. Remember as much as possible, what are the responses that you made that got you the sale or got you the booking or got you the package, first payment of the payment plan, etc. Finance is a really touchy subject. If they have no money right now because people like to plan, then we've got payment plans. And this is a bonus tip. If you offer payment plans as a high ticket seller, people are going to see the opportunity that they can gain instead of the price. You lower the barrier to entry, it is going to be way more attractive. Even though the people can afford the full price, they're going to take money out of the equation because you have a payment plan. Oh, I don't have to worry about money anymore. I don't have to worry about a hole in my bank account if I take out $3,000 up front. Or they always worry about that big number and not the opportunity of improving themselves with your life coaching or your business mentoring, improving their business, etc. They don't see the benefit purely if they have a big price point hanging on their heads. So if you have a payment plan, or if you have never done a payment plan before, Stripe has a automation system where it charges your customer or your client or your partner's card automatically, and it's pretty cool. We have technology. We got to use the technology and the resources that we have in order to save us time. Speaking of time, if their objection, this is just another example, right? If they have no time to attend your coaching, your workshops, etc., then give them an alternative. If you have an alternative, we offer audio training that you can listen to while you're driving, or we have a course, we have an online workshop or a replay or a webinar replay, etc., to peruse at your own time. So own time, own target, or you can even do the Voxer thing that I have mentioned previously, where if they don't have time to jump on a call, they can always contact you whenever they have free time, and then you can answer them and their questions, their inquiries. It's kind of like training. It's kind of like texting a friend who's asking you for advice, but they don't have your real phone number, right? A Voxer is really separate from, like texting your friend, right? You got to have boundaries also. I'm not saying, bring down your boundaries and, get people attacking your personal time, right? The goal of this discovery call Annihilator is to save you time. So remember that objective. All right, in summary, this discovery call Annihilator is going to save you a lot more time because you give them your vision. If you give them your vision, you're going to build that connection from the get-go, and they're able to participate in your mission statement through your offer, through buying your packaging. They're going to believe what you believe in, and that's going to be a way better connection. There's going to be a way better rapport as well if you do like one-on-one coaching or group coaching, etc. What does working with you look like? People don't want to be convinced. They want clarity. They need a logical step 1 to 5. Not even the full thing. They just want a summary to make sense of everything. They need to wrap their head around how you are going to get them their win, how you are going to get them that result. What makes you different from your competitors? This is a really key differentiator. They got to understand that you are their best choice. Reach deep down to the first few times you have solved your own problem that you have a solution for because you're a coach, consultant, expert, and then highlight that as much as possible. Your story, your struggles, your battle scars are what makes you unique and stands out from your competitors in your industry. Do not be a tape recorder. Get the frequently asked questions that you have previously on your other discovery calls. If you haven't recorded them, or if you forgot to record them, remember hard, remember as much as possible and verbatim what they have said themselves, because the question that they're going to ask is going to be in their head when they see your booking page. Answer everything, every single little detail before they even think about booking a call with you, so that the next thing they ask when they jump on a call with you is, all right, what's the next step? And finally, I'm giving like a free salesperson because when you answer objections, you are going to get the sale. The people who are on the fence are going to jump off as fast as possible if you answer all of their objections up front, at least for the serious buyers. Common objections, or even the very heartfelt objections that you spent 40 minutes on that have gotten you the sale, get the answer to that objection and then give them upfront. If you apply just this paragraph alone, it is going to mean so much for the amount of sales you're going to make in the next 2 to 3 weeks. So that is the discovery call Annihilator. It is really meticulous, and if you don't do it right, people might bounce. But the benefit is, as much as possible, you want to get hours and hours of your time back from being a tape recorder, answering the same questions and objections again and again on your discovery calls. Don't use your discovery call as a sales tool or as a marketing tool. You can automate all that upfront with the discovery call Annihilator. If you don't want to do this yourself, or if you don't have the time to do so, I can do it for you. It's $3,000 a pop, or 3% of the sales that you get from your, from your program that you sell through this calendar of yours. So you can contact me at raidenyunos87@gmail.com. Inquire about the discovery call Annihilator, and I'll give you a free sample. We run a test run first. I don't ask for anything up front. I like to earn my keep. I'm really old school like that. And if the $3,000 flat fee is too much, the 3% for every sale you make is always available. Remember, you can always say hi at my socials on TikTok, Instagram, Facebook in the same name. And if you want a free sample of the discovery call Annihilator, custom made for your specific coaching, consulting, or expertise, contact me at raidenyunos87@gmail.com. All right, I'll talk to you soon.